Alright, hey guys, FateSiYT here, and recently I've seen more and more players say things like, can you please train me? Or say things like, how do you get better at the game, please? You know, and today I've just made it. I'm going to make this tutorial. It sums up everything that you would need to improve and at least become better than the average Minecraft player. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. You know, I'm trying to get to 500 subs, and later on, hopefully we can get that Zeqa media rank. Let's get into it. I'm going to do the controls now. Keyboard and mouse, I'd say low sense. You want it to be in a way where if you drag on your mouse pad, you could do like 2 360s. Same for touch. I'd say you want it so you could do 2 360s on the touchpad on your screen, and you'll be able to move 360 degrees 2 times. Button size, I'll say put it to 100. I don't really know that much about keyboard and mouse, so I really can't say that much, but I think there's some other keyboard and mouse YouTubers that have more to say about it. And controller, well, here's the big thing. Since I'm a big controller player, of course my entire channel is basically been controller. Sensitivity about 98. If you don't butterfly click or jitter click, I'd say use 100. But if you do any of those, you could probably go lower, like 90 or 95, but the closer you are to 100, the better you will be. Controller cursor sensitivity 150 is pretty good. In terms of the settings, like controller layout, it really is personal preference. There's some things you can try with your attack button and whatnot to click more or less CPS, but that's really the basis of, you know, the controls. In terms of FOV, I use 100 because that's what I'm more used to, and it's easier for me to aim that way. I've seen people use as low as 60, but if you use this low, usually you have FOV altered on. I like using 100 with altered off because it's most comfortable for me. Some people use 85 altered off or 90 altered off. Really comes down to personal preference and how you can aim. And for these, view bobbing app off makes the gameplay look shaky for me. Of course, camera shake is off. Anything that would lower my FPS is off, except for beautiful skies, you know, since I have a texture pack, so it doesn't really affect my FPS much. GUI scale, it depends. I have it at -1 because -1 is simpler, you know, it's smaller, I can aim better. Render distance have a lowest, anti-aliasing lowest, you know, for the FPS gains. And that's really it for the video settings. Alright, aim. Aim in MCPE, it's pretty self-explanatory. You move your joystick or your mouse, or you tab at the character when, you know, they're getting close to you, enough to the point where it's relevant enough for you to be clicking at them when they're about to get close enough to you. And the best ways to practice aim is just to play the game. Seriously. Don't go on aim labs, don't go on any aim trainer, just keep playing the game, keep practicing your CPS, and that's especially how you're going to get the most aim and the most out of your aim in general. This is the second most important thing in MCPE, Hitreg and CPS. CPS is not as important as people say it is. You could be clicking 16, 18 CPS and still lose to someone like me clicking 8 to 9 CPS. And as I'll show on screen, this is me finding someone with higher CPS and still losing trades with me because CPS doesn't really matter as much as Hitreg. Hitreg matters so much more, and Hitreg is relevant to CPS, but it isn't the same thing. People think that you could click 5, 7 CPS and have good or decent Hitreg. Here's a very important misconception that a lot of people get wrong. Ping and Hitreg is relevant, but ping doesn't really affect it as much. I could go on Asia and still get pretty decent Hitreg as long as I'm clicking a pretty good CPS, which is why there's actually a bunch of really good high pingers that click, you know, high CPS, because that's what a Hitreg is when you're on high ping. And so it really has to do all with hit cycling, and I won't really get into it too much because it's going to be a really in-depth video, but on a base level, you want it so either you click higher than 11 or you click in between two numbers rapidly. That's where you get the most hit reg out of any CPS, really. Alright, next we have movement, and in between that there's jump resets. Alright, so to be honest, I don't really know how to explain movement in a way with Minecraft mechanics, because there's ways you can move like A and D tapping, which will help you reduce KB with your movement. But in a really, I guess the most important way to say is you don't want to strafe too hard when fighting someone. You can think that, oh, you can strafe willy-dally and, you know, get combos or mess up the aim. But if you strafe too hard or strafe too much, your opponent will expect you. And even if you guys go in a circle, your opponent might end up hitting you first, like is what happened right here. And that's why you have to make sure that when you move or when you strafe, you do it with a purpose. You do it with the purpose of hitting the enemy and making sure you don't do it too hard or too lightly, and to make sure not to stop sprinting when you hit your opponent. Jump resets is one of the most important PvP tactics there are in MCPE. Sure, in Java it kind of works, but it will never work as well as it does in MCPE. You will never become an above average player if you don't jump reset. That's the fact. I mean, you can, but you won't be at the top if you don't jump reset. That's just a fact. And, you know, there's already many jump reset tutorials out there, like Doc Penguin Plays, also known as Doc, or IDiedToANoob or XWiki. They all have really good jump reset tutorials. And so I won't really be going into it deeply right now, but on a base level, you want to either jump like the millisecond after you get hit or exactly when you get hit, which is extremely hard to time because it has to do with the opponent's hit reg. So, but really, you just have to practice, get in, go into a match, play Zeqa, keep practicing. You will eventually get better at it just by playing the game. And I mean, that's really all I have to say for jump resets. I'll have those channels that I mentioned below if you want to check them out and see their jump resets tutorials. Alright, so all I mentioned before this point right now were all the basic things. A lot of people know them, some people don't. Those are all the basic Minecraft mechanical skills. But now I'm really going to talk about the Pinto game. Really, one way you can really improve is to watch other players, like Costco members, or even known cheaters like Ozan. And, you know, by watching them, you start to see how they play, you start to see how they aim. And if you take a little bit from everybody, you can really start to develop your own play style and improve as a player. And you don't want to just copy one person. That's what Static taught me. He told me this. He told me, you want to be the FateSiYT 1.0, not someone else 2.0. You don't want to copy someone. You want to make something your own. And watching other people is good, but don't do what I did and copy a controller player named Xface. I tried to copy his playstyle. He's too unique. I really was just messing myself up by doing so. Try to be your own person. Try to be your own playstyle. And with that, play with people at your skill level or better. Queue ranked a lot. That's where you usually find these players. Sure, some worst players make queue ranked, but if you queue ranked, like, there's a 50% chance at least you're gonna queue someone at your skill level or way better. And if you queue someone way better, you probably want to tone it down a bit. You probably want to fight someone closer to your skill level, someone that will give you a challenge while you're playing. Sometimes I'll be playing and I'll feel like I'm just taking a breather and I'm just taking breaths literally, and I'm just mindlessly playing the game. But then I'll be fighting someone like Screenshare or Cameron or Hotmail, or just someone like who actually gives me some presence. And those are the type of players you want to be fighting. You don't want to fight people who are worse than you. Sure, it can probably help you improve your aim or your mechanical skills, but even for those, you want to fight players who will actually give you a challenge with strafes, with their CPS, with their hit reg. You know, I can just, if I'm AFK, I can tell what kind of player I'm going to fight just based off of their hit reg alone while they're hitting me. So realistically, that's the biggest tip right there. Play with people at your own skill level, play a lot, please, after this video, don't be like those people who say train me in the chat. No one likes those people. No one cares about those people. To be honest, I used to do the same thing too to some of the best controller players. Look where I am now. I mean, in a way, I'm already among them. So really, when people tell you to play a lot, it's the truth. It really is hard to be bad. It's hard to be average or worse at a game, and you ask for help and you ask for quote-unquote training. The reality is you have to train yourself. You have to learn yourself. People can guide you, but you will only learn on your own. And quote-unquote training takes more than just one day or actually a one fight. You don't learn enough. You learn enough by playing consistently for a long time. The best players have been playing for a while, and that's the truth. That's the reality of playing MCPE, is to play a lot. So, if you got this far, I really do respect you. You know, this video isn't really high quality. I'm pushing it out pretty quickly because, you know, I want to help the community out. And, you know, if you got this far, I know that you're going to take my tips that I told you and you're going to execute it correctly in game. You know, I'm really grateful for you guys. Follow these steps to improve. Please like and subscribe if you found some of this information helpful for you. Look in the description for some of the channels that I mentioned. That's all I said. Peace.